bedroom comedy. I'm in my bedroom. I'm a comedian. I'm a single mom. I'm a hands-on single mom. I don't want my parents or a nanny to raise my kid, so I'm doing comedy from my bedroom. I'm telling some jokes. I'm testing some jokes because I cannot go out as much as I want to. Right. So a little bit about me. I am Li Ying. That's my Chinese name, and my English name is also Li Ying because when I studied in Malaysia, I met a lot of people, yeah, who came to me and introduced themselves like this. Okay, hello, my name is Jason. I'm from the Middle East. I had a look at him. He's wearing something around his head and hair all over the place. I'm like, you're not a Jason, you're Mohammed. I don't want you to remember me as some candy, some cherry, some fancy English name Chinese girl. I want you to remember me as me. So that's my name. Lee is my family name, like Bruce Lee. Okay, but Bruce Lee changed Lee to Lee, which was supposed to be Li. Americanized, I guess. Okay, Ying is my given name. Okay, means smart. Okay, um, my parents didn't give a lot of thought about my name because I have an older brother, older sister. Okay, both of their names were gorgeous. Okay, my brother's name was an emperor's name, okay, from the Tang Dynasty. Okay, my sister name means elegant, graceful, and that's her formal name and also nickname. Okay, my name means smart. Okay, because she's pretty. They're like, okay, let's make her smart. Okay, and I have a nickname which means redundant. Okay, I hated it. Okay, I was born during the one child policy. Okay, actually it's two child policy when my brother and sister were born because they were a little bit older than me, much older, like 8 years and 6 years older than me. Yeah. I don't know. My parents or my grandparents wanted to have another boy because they live on the farm. They needed some, backup plan because my brother wasn't as traditionally or as strong as they wanted him to be. So they needed another boy, to carry on the family name, to carry on the farm torch, right? So I was conceived and I was born, yeah. And when I was born, okay, the whole family was upset, yeah, because I obviously was not a boy, okay? I wanted to say that I didn't have a penis. But anyways, okay, I wasn't a boy, so they were upset, okay? And also it was against the policy. It was against the policy. So certain government sector people came over. They, you know, had to fine my parents. Okay, if they were holding jobs at a factory or any government jobs, they would lose their job. Okay, but they were farmers, so they couldn't do anything about that. So they take away half of the farmland that I was supposed to get. Like every individual has a portion. I got half of the portion. Yeah, I got half of the portion, and that was okay in the 1980s. And fast forward 40 years later, okay, there are incentives to people who have 3 children, okay, or to have any children, right? And when that policy was out, the 3-child policy was out, I was like, oh my God, I want my farmland back, okay? So, anyways, that's how I was born. So I like the fact that people favor boys. Okay, if my parents didn't favor boys, if they didn't want to have another boy, if they were happy with one boy and one girl, there wouldn't be me. Yeah. So keep doing that. Keep doing that. And they're still doing that unconsciously. They're still doing that unconsciously. I don't mind because there's how to say that okay super okay superheroes have to wear a cape, right? Okay, yeah, if you're loved, you're the Superman. Okay, then you have to carry more responsibilities. Okay, my brother is taking care of my parents. I got the freedom to do whatever I want. Okay, so now I'm a single mom. Okay, I am a single mom to a half black and half Chinese baby boy. Okay, um, why? Yes. Why? I guess because I wanted to be different. I wanted to be different from the rest of the 1.4 billion Chinese people. Yeah, I wanted to be different. So I made myself a single mom to a Blasian kid. Yeah, all right. I am the only one here. I am the only one here. Seriously, I'm so unique here. But I guess if I go to America, I will blend in right away. Yeah. I don't know. I think there are a lot of single moms, single parents in the West. When I lived in London, I was already 39 years old. Okay, I was 39 years old. Okay, I lived there before I got pregnant and after I got pregnant. So before I got pregnant, so I was single and I was dating. When I went out on a date with a guy, they always ask, "Do you have kids? You know, do you have kids?" So I guess being a single mom and eligible to date is, I don't know if it's the norm, but it's common. In China, yeah, when I was in my late 30s, whenever I go on a date, nobody asks if I have kids because no one wants to have kids here. No one wants to have a kid here. Only stupid people want to have kids. That's what my sister said when she heard that I got pregnant. Yeah. So, anyways, so I'm a single mom, and my parents don't know that I'm single mom. Okay, if they know that I don't have a man, they will have a heart attack. You know, I thought they were unconventional Chinese parents. Turned out they are very conventional Chinese parents. Okay, they are so conventional that my mom tells her friends that I'm a full-time teacher working for a school. Okay, in her mind, that's stable. That's what makes her proud. She didn't tell anybody I was a comedian. Okay, what is a comedian? You know, yeah, I guess she think I'm wasting my master's degree doing what I'm doing, and they definitely don't acknowledge what I'm doing. Okay, all right. So I'm testing some jokes. Some part is not gonna be funny. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm okay testing jokes online, to be honest, because I, you know, did online comedy during COVID. Yeah, that was weird, and after a while, you got used to it. Yeah, so having kids and having COVID are similar, pretty much similar, right? You feel isolated, you know, you can't travel, you know, and then people keep saying that you have problems. Seriously, people who are not parents judge parents a lot. Okay, yeah, whenever you take out your kid and your kid did something annoying, like they're loud in public or they throw a tantrum, you know, and then people just started judging you with their eyes. Okay, so anyways, that's another story. Okay, I'm pretty happy about this. Okay, I'm picturing myself with some crowd. I hope this video gets some crowd, and then yeah, leave a comment and thank you for your support. So yeah, back to me. Okay, I am a single mom. Yeah, and I have a half black, half Chinese baby boy, and I didn't know that would become such a huge issue. Okay, I think people are equal. You date whoever you want to date. You know, it's 21st century, right? So, but when I deliver the news to my family, their reaction. Okay, so I was in London. Okay, I was supposed to do another master's degree, so I was in London, but I got pregnant before I went to London. And then when I got the result of my pregnancy, I didn't know. You know, I was thinking of staying, but I was already 39, you know, and that was my first time getting pregnant. I was very excited, but I, you know, was, uh, I kept listening, not listening, I kept hearing stories about high risk pregnancies. Like obviously, if you're over 35, okay, you're considered high risk pregnant woman, right? So I didn't know how, this is gonna be. So and then I decided to go to London. So I was in London, and then it was very emotional. My grandmother was dying. My grandmother was dying. She's 93 years old. Uh, I was the only one that was always all over the place, and then I I wanted to tell her because she was worried about me. She thought that I didn't have a man, I didn't have a family. In her world, that's it's hard for her to comprehend. So, anyways, I wanted my sister to tell my grandmother because she was about to lose her consciousness. So I decided to tell my older sister, who's 8 years older than me. So when I told her that, hey, I got pregnant, and her first reaction was, "Are you stupid?" And then her second reaction was, "How black is your baby gonna be?" And I was in London. I was like, "Oh my God, you are a princess. You can join the royal family now." And when I told my brother about my pregnancy, he was just beating around bush, saying that I didn't have a plan. I wasn't, I don't know. I think he just didn't like black people. Okay, period. And then I didn't tell anybody. They threatened that if I told my parents would end up in the hospital having a heart attack. So these two bitches, okay, gave me a really hard time. And then I came back to China when I was 24 week pregnant. Okay, I decided to have the kid in China because I wasn't having a lot of friends in London, even though I have free health care. Okay, I will talk about that later. So, anyways, I came back to China, and then I had to tell my parents at week 24, and they were excited. Okay, they were excited. Okay, I was surprised. They were excited. I thought my parents were so open-minded. And then I heard my mom whispering to my dad. She's like, she's 39 years old. Any color would do. Which, and my father was very excited. Okay, he was like, yeah, he was mad at my brother and sister. And then he was like, no racism in my household. Okay, if you're not happy, get the fuck out of the house. Okay, I'm like, oh my God, my dad sounds like a gangster. Why is he so cool? My mom like, because your dad watches NBA all day every day. He thinks your baby daddy is an NBA basketball player. And I was like, Dad, chill. He's very short. So anyways, okay, I thought my parents were very excited, very conventional, but turns out they think that a woman needs to have a child, and a woman needs to have a man, and a woman needs to have a stable job. Oh, a woman doesn't have to work, okay, as long as the man provides, right? So they were not very happy about the fact that they could feel that I'm doing a lot. Yeah, so they might feel that my man wasn't very present, so they were kind of upset. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so I got pregnant by accident. Okay, otherwise my baby would be white. Yeah, it's very uncommon to have half black, half Chinese babies. Okay, I don't know many. I really don't know. I know one in person. I know one that's one of our comedy audiences. Okay, so it's really not very common to have half black, half Chinese babies. And when my baby was born, so I was trapped at home. I couldn't go out. To do comedy because we had to do the 1 month confinement, meaning right after you give birth to the baby, you need to stay in the house for 1 month. Okay, traditionally, you're not supposed to shower, not supposed to touch water, to touch cold water, not supposed to work, so have people take care of you so that you can recover really well. I think there's some science to it, and some women wouldn't even wash their hair, right? So I touch water, and after some time, I feel that my fingers, okay, the joints, okay, feel cold, especially when the weather is kind of cold. So, anyways, I used to stand up every night, and I was trapped, and we were living kind of far from my friends as well, and I felt really isolated. It's really, really, uh, difficult for me emotionally. So I started doing like this, some online jokes, and I started posting them. So I did a few bits about my baby doesn't look like me, everything. Okay, it's pretty funny. And then I got so many trolls. Okay, basically just hating half black, half Chinese baby. Some people say that, oh, you turned this country into France, okay, by having a black baby. I'm like, really? Wow, I'm turning this country into a country where people don't work, they drink coffee, have baguette, smoke, walking their dog, and if they're not happy, they have a strike. And well, you're welcome. All right? Okay, I'm turning this country where people who work 99.6 to a country where people don't work, just want to have sex. Okay? You are welcome. So, yeah, there are a lot of haters. Okay, like attacking a baby, So, yeah, that was a shock. That was a shock. I always knew that the online world is different, but like attacking a baby, come on. And also, I was like, oh my God, I live in a country that has thousands and thousands of years of civilizations, and then interracial relationships were not new at all. Like it happened thousands of years ago, and I just couldn't believe the amount of hate that we got online. So, yeah. Yeah, anyways, okay, that's a little bit disappointing, yeah, and also embarrassing. I don't know why I'm embarrassed for these haters and trolls, because I think they've reached a new low, and I always feel I'm very proud of being Chinese, but again, and that's the same people that grew up in the same place as I did. So it's kind of embarrassing. I really felt embarrassed. So, yeah, anyways, so being a single mom, okay, having a half black, half Chinese kid is very interesting. Very interesting, yeah. So we live in Shanghai. I think Shanghai is a very international place. Maybe, I don't know, other people don't think so. Because I have friends from a lot of different countries, and then living here, I feel the vibe is pretty cool. But after having a kid, I don't live in fancy neighborhood anymore, because when I was single, when I was just by myself, I would live in some nice chill, a lot of young people neighborhood. Now I live in old people neighborhood because the rent is cheaper. That's the first thing first, and then there are just more supermarkets, and it's good for living. So, anyways, when I take my baby out, ooh, wow, everybody's interested. Okay, yeah, and then people ask a lot of questions. Okay, here. There's different culture. There's a different culture here. Like people like to talk to each. I don't think people like to talk to each other per se, but when you have a child, and then you attract like older people, and then they don't have a filter. They don't have a filter. They just come over like, oh wow, black baby, African baby, and then they be like, wow, are you the mom? Are you the grandma? Are you the translator? Are you the nanny? All kinds of questions, And I'd be like, yeah, I'm the nanny sometimes. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, when they ask where's the daddy, I'm like, is he in Africa? I'm like, yeah, he is in Africa because I adopted him. Um, so I feel like Angelina Jolie right away. Yes, okay, and here there are a lot of kids are raised by nannies. Okay, I don't have a nanny. One, it's expensive. Two, I don't want to invite somebody to live with me and judge me. And I don't think I just don't. I don't feel like having another person that I don't know very well living with me. Yeah, of course that person will do a lot of things. Will definitely make my life easier. But I don't want. I don't want. Yeah, I've lived with my mom. I don't need to live with another middle-aged or older Chinese woman. And I did have a cleaning IE. Okay, we call IE nanny. Okay, IE is also respectful way of calling an older woman, right? Like uncle, here as well. So I once had a cleaning IE, okay, who came to the house, and then she saw my baby boy. She's like, oh my God, I have another black client. Do you know him? And then she showed me a photo of a black guy. I was like, oh my God, Ayi, this is so wrong for two reasons. First of all, you're not supposed to show one of your clients to the other. Two, I do know that black guy. He almost became my baby daddy. I'm kidding. There are not many black people here. That's probably why there are not a lot of mixed Blasian babies, all right? So that's why it's kind of hard to date black people. Yeah, it's kind of hard to date black people because there are only, let's say, 50 black guys here, and they all know each other, and I know all of them. Okay, and that's before COVID. After COVID, there are only maybe 30 of them. I'm not saying COVID killed the other 20 black people because they're not racist, okay? They were just eaten by people during COVID. I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke, okay? So, yeah, I don't understand. I think I understand. I also don't understand. I have friends who would only date white guys, and they would only date white guys from certain countries like New Zealand, America, UK, Australia, Canada. Okay, those countries. Okay, so I used to roast them. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, they think they're rich, maybe, or or they think they speak. I don't know. And I'm like, why? Why do you only date white guys from these countries? Do you know? If you dated somebody who's from, I'm like, it's very easy for people from these countries to get a job here, especially a teaching job. Okay, especially a teaching job. But if you date somebody from, let's say, they think probably these countries are wealthy. If you date somebody who is not from these kind of country, I don't know. They come here, either because they're very talented, or or they okay. Or they inherit a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? When I was studying in Malaysia, all the postgraduates, okay, I don't see a lot of, they're all from like a lot of countries that you've never heard of. That's my point. That's my point. My point is that, yeah, so I shouldn't give dating advice, you know what I'm saying? But it's bizarre to me that people would only date somebody because what country they're from, you know what I'm saying? So speaking of that, I studied in Malaysia because I couldn't afford the US. Also, I didn't want to get fat. No, it's just hard to go to the US. So I studied in Malaysia, and I decided to go to Malaysia when I was 28 years old. By then, I had already had a pretty well-paid job, but I'm like, I've seen the end of my life, So I wanted to see the world. And when I was younger, I didn't have money to go abroad, even though I studied English as a major, but I never been able to go to another country. So I'm like, okay, this is my chance to go to another country. And I had some students studying in Malaysia, so I was teaching English at a language center. So anyways, okay, I went to Malaysia, and that point I felt that I really had little knowledge of the world. I felt every country, not every country, but at least Malaysia, because Malaysia is pretty developed in my mind, and also its official language is English. So I thought Malaysia would be like Hollywood, from those movies that I watched, But when I went there, I was kind of disappointed because it's not like Hollywood at all, Malaysia has Chinese, Malays, and Indians, right? So Chinese are a bit similar to the Chinese in China, and Indians a bit similar to India. Of course, there are differences, but Malays are Muslims, okay, and in some ways I feel that they're pretty conservative. For example, when I went to the library, and I was stopped there because my skirt was not knee length, it should be longer. And I got offended. I'm like, oh my God, this is my traditional clothes. How could you stop me? See how ignorant and arrogant I was as a foreigner, Yeah. So, anyways, and on my first day, I got caught in the rain. I was running all over the place on campus to pay for my tuition and to get registered as a postgraduate. So, and then I went to my dormitory, and we had like a shared bathroom. I got soaking wet. I wanted to go take a shower, and then I ran to the public toilet bathroom, and I was so tired, and I was just like in a mess, and I was in a rush, wanted to find the shower. I couldn't find it, but I saw like a row of like a toilet cubicles. I opened the door, saw a toilet bowl, and right next to it I saw a pipe, which is like a plastic pipe, like a meter long. And I'm like, oh my God, this is how Malaysians take showers? Ooh, tough life. And I'm like, but I'm not gonna complain. I'm independent. I'm already here. I'm gonna do what the Malaysians do. So I turned on the pipe. I started washing myself with the pipe, and it's short, so I had to be bending, and I'm like, it was very flexible, and the water was hot at first because of the pipe, and then it wasn't that hot. I'm like, that's all right. I got clean, and I finished. I opened the door, and right in front of me is a row of modern shower heads like the ones we have at home. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I just use to wash myself? Later on, I learned that's how they wash their butts after taking a poop. And I did that for 6 years in my life. My butt got so spoiled after I moved back to China. I feel so out of place without that pipe. Every time I go to the toilet, I'm like, where is my pipe? So I started using like a spray bottle to bring water to wash my butt. Other people, when they go out, they bring pepper spray. I bring my butt spray, So anyways, that's my story. And I have a lot of other stories to tell. Thank you guys so much. Please leave a comment if you like my video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I will share more of my stories with you in the next video. Take care.